Hey, what is going on guys? Danny here, hope you've all been doing well. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nvidia's 10 series graphics card stock and supply issues. Now, ever since they launched the new RTX 20 series of graphics cards to the market, they never said that they were going to forget about Pascal or that the new Turing GPUs would completely replace the 10 series cards and that would be the end of that. In fact, at the Citi 2018 Global Technology Conference, Nvidia's CFO Colette Kress told the audience to continue to expect that they'll be selling Pascal graphics cards for a while. This is what he had to say. We will be selling probably for the holiday season, both our Turing and our Pascal overall architecture. Remember, Turing is a leap forward in terms of overall capabilities. The performance improvement is much greater than the overall price. What that means is that you're getting, for your dollar spent, tremendous more improvement. Okay, so we all know how that performance improvement part turned out. Keep in mind, he said this before the review embargo lifted. But the more important part was that he said they'll continue to keep selling both Turing and Pascal. Going off his statement then, you would think that everything's going to be fine, then it'll be business as usual. For those who want to buy a new RTX 20 series graphics cards, they can go do that. And for the disappointed consumers, well, they can continue to keep buying the cheaper 10 series and everyone gets what they want and everyone's happy, right? Well, not exactly. While browsing for some GPUs on my local computer hardware retailer site, I actually noticed something. I was specifically searching for some 1080 Ti's as I was doing a build for someone who had requested they wanted that graphics card, and what I saw was that most of the models that were listed on the site were out of stock. At first, I thought maybe it was just this specific retailer who didn't have cards in stock, so I checked another site and I found the same results. Newegg and Amazon are both considered to be giants in the e-tailer space, but I had no luck finding any 1080 Ti's there as well. I mean, they had some cards up for sale, but they were either used, warehouse listings, or they came from a third-party market seller who had marked up the card for significantly higher than what it actually should sell for. Eventually, he ended up settling for a used 1080 Ti he found on Kijiji, which is a used marketplace where you can buy and sell things from other individuals. But I just thought it was really bizarre as this was contradicting what we had heard from the statement that was made at GTC 2018. Continuing my search, I decided to see how reliably someone could find a GTX 1080 or 1070, and what I noticed was that these cards weren't as scarce as the 1080 Ti's, but I could see that all the retailers were running low on stock for these cards as well, even if the GPUs had more models listed and indicated as in stock. If you were to click on store availability, only very few stores would have one card remaining. At first I thought, oh, here we go again, more GPU scarcity in Canada. Because when it comes to consumer electronics, our market pales in comparison to what our neighbors just south of the border get to enjoy. It's not just something that happens with computer components, but other markets like smartphones, for example, also behave this way, where we see release dates a bit later and are more limited on supplies. So out of curiosity, I hopped onto Newegg.com and Amazon.com, and I see the same stock issue situation is going on here as well. If I sort out the seller option to just Newegg, select 1080 Ti's only, and look what we get. There's only two in stock, with one that is considerably overpriced, while the remaining listed models are out of stock. The situation is quite concerning, as this could mean that Nvidia and the AIBs could be facing a supply constraint, or there are some rumors going around that they have ceased production of higher-end Pascal graphics cards, and that has come to fruition. With their new 20 series lineup, they were already facing supply issues. If you go on the Nvidia forums or the Nvidia subreddit, there are a lot of posts in regards to people not receiving their orders on time and getting notices for shipment delays. Not to mention the recent fiasco of 20 series Founder Edition cards being faulty, so people were having to request RMAs from Nvidia, and that was just causing a lot more delays. Stock from AIB seem to be coming and going, at least those channels still appear to be somewhat active. It's just that since these are new products, they usually get sold out as soon as they come into stock, which is not surprising to see, but if the situation wasn't already bad enough, now we're possibly looking at shortages of their previous high-end GPUs with the possibility of no replenishment for stock. Stores could very well be selling the last batches of the high-end Pascal GPUs, and then the only option you're going to be left with are the 20 series cards, which is definitely problematic for a lot of people due to various reasons. And I mentioned high-end Pascal graphics cards for a specific reason, as this includes other cards, not just the 1080 Ti. For the 1080, 1070 Ti, and 1070, the situation doesn't look as dire at the moment, but could very well end up in the same situation. Right now, if you were to hop on over to Newegg, you'll still be able to find cards listed and in stock. Problem with Newegg is that they don't list how many cards they have in stock. Amazon, on the other hand, does, and while you can still find 1080s and 1070s in stock, a lot of the listings mentioned include used warehouse only deals or that the cards will have either one in stock. In Canada, stock for those 1080s and 1070s is almost just as bad as finding a 1080 Ti. But like I said earlier, I don't want to use our situation as concrete indication to depleting supplies for those cards. Right now, nobody really knows as to why the market is like this right now, as Nvidia hasn't commented on the situation, nor have any of their partners. Are they prioritizing Turing now over Pascal, or are they simply just dealing with too many supply constraints? I'm not sure, but either way you look at it, this is a bad situation for the consumer. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned some reasons as to why a 1080 Ti was a much better choice when it came to price to performance over the new RTX 2080 and RTX 2080 Ti. It mainly came down to those cards not delivering a significant performance advantage over the predecessors, being overpriced and sold on a promise that you'll eventually get to use ray tracing and RTX features with no clear date as to when that will be possible. Therefore, the new cards just generally weren't received well by enthusiasts in the community, and it's mainly why so many are still going to continue to purchase the 10 series graphics cards. However, if there isn't any stock left for those cards and it doesn't get replenished, then the consumer will be left with limited options. They'll have to suck it up and pay extra for similar performing cards from the 20 series lineup, bide their time with a mid-level graphics card like a 1060 or 580, or if they do need a card that performs like a 1070 or 1080, then AMD's Radeon RX Vega 64 and 56 GPUs are great alternatives. In fact, now they seem to be much cheaper and in line with where they should be sold at. But remember, AMD doesn't have a graphics card that can compete with the 1080 Ti, so there are no alternatives there. Let me just also point out that another reason why this is so bad is because once supplies for those cards run out, Nvidia isn't going to feel sympathy for the consumer and lower prices. You're going to have to deal with buying a 2080 that performs like a 1080 Ti but end up having to pay a nice premium of $100 to $200 in some cases. Now, when it comes to mid-range cards for the entry-level or budget users, then you've got nothing to worry about, as it doesn't look like Nvidia has any plans to release any new graphics cards to replace them yet. So you can expect to see GTX 1060s and 1050s on the shelves for quite some time. But I just wanted to make this quick update video talking about the whole situation and relay this information to you guys. For anyone who might be in the market for a new graphics card, and you're looking at Nvidia's 10 series specifically, cards like the 1080 Ti or 1080, expect to set up some reminders and monitor price trackers so you know when the card is in stock and if it's on sale for a decent price. I hope you guys found this video to be informative and helpful. Let me know your thoughts down below. Check out the video description for my other videos and ways to support the channel. And if you're interested in more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.